you don't need anything, but if you would like a little bit of extra support, you can grab yourself a couple of cans of food. That's going to help to bring the ground up, a little bit like yoga blocks. So if you have those are great as well. And if you have a cushion, a sofa cushion or a bolster, you can grab one of those, because we'll use them for some more gentler poses at the end. But you don't have to have any of these things. And we'll start sitting. You can be kneeling, you can be cross-legged, or you can pop yourself up in a chair. So whatever position you're in, we just want to allow the low body to be nice and grounded, the spine to lengthen up and away. Just rest your hands on your thighs for a moment and just settle in, so you get a little wiggle around. Make sure the sit bones are relatively even, so the weight is relatively even. And then close your eyes and start to bring the attention inside your body. And just noticing the landscape of your internal experience this morning. As we kind of navigate this time, maybe we're navigating multiple kind of conflicting emotions, maybe multiple changing landscapes, emotional landscapes throughout the day, or from hour to hour. So just checking in now. And I just want to invite you to place your hand on your heart, and then place the other hand on top of that hand, so you're resting both hands on your heart center. And then start to gently circle the hands on your heart center, and you can actually press quite strongly into that fascia in the center of the chest, starting to give the heart a little bit of a rub. And start to take some deeper breaths as you press the hands into the center of your chest. You can take some big sighs out through the mouth, softening, relaxing the jaw and the face. So this practice is going to be all about reassuring the nervous system, letting the nervous system know that it's safe. And so in times of uncertainty, sometimes that parasympathetic, that fight or flight, can get really activated. Sometimes it's harder to sleep and harder to get in touch with the body. So using these hands on the body to reassure, to connect in. Then we're going to bring the right hand underneath the left armpit and bring the left hand onto your right arm. And just let the arm settle down. So we're giving ourselves a bit of a hug, but also it's a bit of a heart hug. So we're allowing this hand to put some pressure onto the left side of the body, the heart side of the body. And just take a couple of deep breaths here. Just giving yourself a little bit of attention this morning. Bringing the awareness down into your body, reassuring your body that you're listening. Maybe take a little rock from side to side, like you're kind of rocking your body. And let the chest rotate from one side to the other. And just gently encouraging a slightly longer out breath, so we're not forcing anything, but just take a big breath in. And then sigh the breath out through the mouth. Breathing in. And then a slow, steady sigh out through the mouth. And again, 2 more times, breathing in. And a slow, steady sigh out through the mouth. Once more. Allowing that breath to empty. And we're just going to release the hands. Take a big reach up for the sky. Take some circles into the wrist, just mobilizing into the wrists. Spreading the fingers as you circle the wrists around. And then bring those circles all the way down. Let the hands come all the way down to the ground. we're going to bring the fingertips to the forehead now and just do a little gentle rub of the forehead, so where we maybe feel that kind of frown come on if we're concentrating on the computer, or if we're feeling under a little bit of stress and tension, just giving a bit of massage. You can do some upward sweeps, just gestures, a bit of massage into the face. And then bring that massage into the temples, just giving your face a little bit of a massage this morning, waking up. And then you can bring your hands up to your head and give a little bit of a massage into the crown of your head. So a little bit like that massage that I always really look forward to whenever I go to the hairdressers, when someone gives a really good head massage. Can you press some pressure into the crown of your head and into the back of the head? And then to the occiput, so the part of the skull and the top of the spine where they meet. So it also reflects the back of the brain, the lizard brain, that part of the brain that is focused on fight or flight. The part of the brain that talks to the amygdala and feeds on fear, allows fear to maybe run out of control sometimes. So just calming that part of the brain with a little bit of reassurance on the back of the neck. Maybe take that massage down into the back of the neck, into the tops of the traps. So these kind of muscles here that can get quite tight, particularly if we're working on the computer. Just giving a bit of a squeeze, a bit of self-massage into the tops of the trapezius muscles. Nice. And then bring that massage all the way around to the jaw. So I'm certainly guilty of tensing my jaw when I'm stressed. So maybe you feel those muscles of the jaw that can get a little bit overdeveloped if we get a bit anxious. You can put some quite strong pressure into those muscles, so reassuring the nervous system that you're listening and allowing that feedback to start you to bring you more into a rest and digest state. Maybe some yawns coming on. You can bring your hands all the way to the sides of your nose, just giving a bit of a massage round the eye sockets. And then another one that can feel really nice is to come to the ears and just give the ears a bit of a tug. So massaging around the sides of the ears. So even that fascia can get quite tight. Nice, and just finishing off back at the crown of the head. And then bring your hands to your forehead. Just place the heels of the hands at your forehead, to your third eye center. And then draw that energy down to your heart center. And then bring the hands down to your thighs. Just ground that energy down to your thighs. You give them a bit of a squeeze. Nice. You're going to come up to stand from here. So just come to find a standing position. Move out anything out of the way you don't need. Spread your toes and bring your feet to about shoulder width apart. And we're going to continue this sort of sense of touch, reassuring the body. So with your left hand, just squeeze the right hand. Doesn't matter which one really. Just giving a little bit of a massage into that hand, and then bring that pressure up into the arm. It doesn't matter how you're doing it. You might like quite strong pressure, or you might like quite gentle. And then bring that hand to the center of the chest. Give the chest a bit of a rub. Nice. And then take some sweeps down that arm, all the way down to the fingertips. And you can take some breaths out through the mouth, just letting go of anything you don't need. One more. And then bring the opposite hand to massage that opposite hand. Taking a bit of massage into the palm, all the way up the arm. And again, it can be some quite firm pressure, or it can be quite gentle, depends on what you're feeling your body needs this morning. All the way up to the shoulder, and then take some sweeps all the way out to the fingertips. Just having a little bit of a wash without water. Nice. And then bring that hand back to heart center and just give the heart center a little bit of a rub. Nice. And then bring the hands down to your belly, just connecting in with your belly. Take some circles. So the lower chakras, but also in Tai Chi, the low Dantian or Qigong, they are center of gravity. We're going to start to really connect with this, connect with our center of gravity. And those lower chakras that are all associated with home, with feeling at home in our bodies. So we're going to bring our hands to the outer hips now and just send that attention down the thighs, so pressing into the thighs, all the way down to the shins, and then all the way down to the feet, so pressing into your feet, grounding through your feet. And then bring that all the way back up, maybe up the back line of the body, all the way up to stand. And bring the hands to your low back. You're just giving a little bit of heat, a bit of rub to your low back. And then you can make fists with your hands and just start to tap the low back. So again, this is like more like a Qigong exercise, drawing some energy to the low back, the back line of the body. And then start to bring that all the way up to the base of the ribs. And then all the way back down again. So maybe to the outer hips, all the way up to the lumbar, up to the base of the ribs, and just do that a few more times. Nice. Just waking up this morning. And then come back to stand, have a shake out through the arms, give the legs a bit of a shake, give the chest a bit of a shake, give the head a bit of a shake. Nice. And then we're going to start to bounce through the knees, creating a bit of rebound through the feet. I'll come this way so you can see. I'm going to swing one arm forward, one arm back. So just let that be a gentle rhythmic movement at first. And just let some big breaths out through the mouth. If you want to add on here, you can circle the arms overhead. So it depends on how your mind's feeling this morning, how much it wants to kind of let go of that worry about whether you're going to get this right. We'll just take a couple more like this. And then come back to center. Give the shoulders a nice little shake again, the hips a little shake. And again, just take a couple of big breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then come back to center, spread all 10 toes, and then ground them down. Take a little sway forwards and backwards. See if you can bring your awareness down into your feet. And it's like you've got deep roots going down into the ground from your feet. So your roots are much deeper than you are tall. Imagine those roots going down into the ground. Finding your roots, finding your ground. From there, breathe in, reach the arms for the sky, reach up. And then breathe out, bring the hands together, bring the hands to the forehead. Gather that energy into your heart center. From here, we're going to send the arms forward, round the back. And then breathe in, elbows go back, lift the chest, lift the heart. So breathing out, rounding forward. Breathing in, opening. So a little bit like a standing cat-cow. You're letting the back round, and then you're allowing the chest to extend. Full deep breaths. And you're pressing into the floor, keeping that connection with the ground. Nice, just a couple more like this. Really let that rounding happen. Noticing where you feel it this morning. One more time. Standing up, reach for the sky. And come this way so you can see. This time we're going to reach one arm over to the side, so coming into a big side bend. And then we're going to let the chest soften, bend the knees. Let this bring you down into a forward fold. Reach the opposite arm over into a side bend. And we're going to do some big circles. And you can take it nice and slow, and you can be quite controlled with it. Or you can let it be more like a flow. So you let the chest just fall down and away. Full deep breath. Nice, reaching, circling around, then coming all the way back up. We're going to go the other way this time, reaching over the opposite way. So side bending, but also rotation, extension and flexion. Full circles through the body. You might let the hips get involved as well. Just feel into what feels good for you. Waking up the body. One more big circle around. And then coming all the way up, reach for the sky. Palms of the hands come together. Hands to heart center. Hands to the hips. You can bring your feet a little bit wider apart and take some big circles into the hips. So like you're drawing circles on the floor beneath you. Nice, full deep breaths. And then take those circles in the opposite direction. Brilliant. You're going to bring the feet a little closer together now. So more like hip width apart, depending on how that feels for your body. And bring yourself to the front of your mat. Finding Tadasana, finding your ground, those deep roots down into the ground. Take a deep breath in, reach the arms for the sky, palms come together. As you breathe out, hands to forehead, to third eye, hands to heart center, and then send that energy down through your legs into the ground. Press the feet into the floor with your hands. Frame your feet with your hands or grab your cans to raise the ground up. Step your right leg back and drop that right knee down. As you breathe in, lift the chest, lift the heart forward. As you breathe out, send the hips back. So we're lengthening this front leg, but keeping the left foot grounded. Breathing in, lift the chest, lift the heart. Breathing out, send the hips back. And this doesn't have to be a big range of motion. We're just finding our connection with the ground. Nice. From here, slowly, slowly, stack the left knee over the ankle, bring the hands to the hips. Tuck your tailbone under slightly and press the hips forward. Reach the arms for the sky in this low crescent lunge. Stay grounded through the low body. You could stay like this if you want to, otherwise we're going to add those arms in like we did in standing. So reaching one arm back, one arm forward, and then switch change. So swinging forward and backwards with the arms. Nice. Letting the chest rotate with the movement of the arms. Keeping the low body stable and just letting that rotation happen in the upper body. Okay, next time the right arm's forward, we're going to stay there, reach, reach, reach forward, and then plant that right hand to the floor or to a can or a block. Reaching the left fingertips for the sky. Reach, 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 and like you're kind of drawing energy from the sky down. You're going to send that left hand to your heart center all the way down to the ground, pressing the right hand into the floor. As you breathe in, slide up, hand to heart center, reach for the sky. As you breathe out, slide that hand down, all the way down, press into the bottom hand. And again, breathe in, reach up. Breathe out, sliding the hand down. One more time, breathing and reaching up. Breathing out, sliding the hand down, pressing that hand to the floor. Nice. You're going to frame the front foot with the hands now. Lift the back knee and slide that left leg back. Come to find downward dog and just pedal out through the legs. Give the head a bit of a shake. Make this a moving downward dog. Take your time to land. And then settling in, taking a couple of deep breaths here. We're going to tuck the tailbone under and ripple forward until we come forward into a plank position. And then land your knees to the floor, so more like a tabletop position here. Keep the feet flexed. We're going to send the hips back to the sky. So this time breathing in, round forward. Let the knees either come to the ground or just let them hover. Lift the chest, lift the heart. Send the hips back to the sky. So we're finding this little wave through the spine. Breathing into round forward. Bend the knees, lift the chest, lift the heart. Send the hips back. So rippling forward almost a plank, knees hovering cow to send the hips back. And just keep moving with your breath. Nice, full deep breaths. One more time. And then come back to find downward dog. Walk the feet forward. Come to find your forward fold. Bend the knees. Grab opposite hand to opposite elbow. Take a little sway from side to side. You can stay with opposite hand to opposite elbow, or if you'd like to, you're just going to clasp your hands and bring them behind your head, around that top of the spine, and put a little bit of weight into it. So let your knees bend enough so the spine can be long, and then let the head be heavy. Let the weight of the hands allow the head and the chest to sink down. Full deep breaths. Allowing the crown of the head to melt towards the ground. And then slowly let the arms come down, press the feet into the floor, slide the hands up the front of the body, all the way up to reach the fingertips for the sky. Big breath in, gathering that energy in, hands to forehead, hands to heart center, sliding the hands down, pressing the feet down into the floor with your hands. Nice. Fingertips to the floor, either side of your body. Step your left foot back, drop that left knee down. That forward and backward action again. If you want to use your cans or your blocks to bring the ground up, feel free to. Lift the chest forward and then send the hips back, lengthening through back of right hamstring. Bit of flossing through that back line of fascia. Full deep breaths. And then finding the ground underneath you, so the knee more or less stacks over the ankle. Bring your hands to your hips, press your hips forward, reach the arms for the sky. And then we're going to do that bounce catch again. So reaching left arm forward, right arm back, swing to change. Let the chest rotate with the movement of the arms. Full deep breaths. You might let a few breaths out through the mouth. Couple more like this. And then reaching the left arm forward, right arm back. Reach, reach, reach with that left hand. Place it down to the floor or to one of your cans or one of your props. Reaching right fingertips to the sky. And like you're trying to gather that energy from the sky, bring that energy down to your heart center, sliding it all the way down to that bottom hand. As you breathe in, slide the hand back up, reach for the sky. Gather that energy down to your heart center, all the way down to the ground. Full deep breaths. Nice. Just a couple more times. Breathing out, sliding that hand down. Breathing in, reaching. Breathing out, sliding that hand down. Nice. 2 more times. Breathing and reach for the sky, drawing that energy down to your heart center, down into the ground, grounding that hand. Reaching for the sky, and this time framing that front foot with your hands. Lifting the back knee, step the front foot back, come to find downward dog. Spread your fingers, spread your toes, and find your flow again, rippling forward to plank. Bending the knees, send the hips back. Rippling forward to plank, and then bending the knees, sending the hips back. Let the chest lift as the hip goes back, hips go back. One more time. This time downward dog's going to bring us forward to plank. We're going to lower the knees down, bend the elbows, bring the chest to the floor, and slide the forearms forward, come to find Sphinx. Just wiggling out through the hips. Roll the shoulders a couple of times and just land in Sphinx. Keep drawing the chest between the gateway, the arms, drawing the shoulder blades towards each other on the back of the body. Take 2 more deep breaths here. And then let the elbows go wide. Rest your forehead onto the backs of your hands. Let the whole body rest and sink down onto the mat. Stay here for 5 full deep breaths. From here, we're going to slowly slide the hands back and press back to puppy. So have the feet flexed, send the hips back towards the heels. Just take a little wiggle out through the hips. Give the head a bit of a shake. And just wiggle the hips from side to side. I'm going to finish with a more restorative twist. So grab your cushion if you can, and if you've got something, so you can use a block or you could use another cushion just to prop up the other end. So it's a little bit higher and it's slightly on a diagonal. If you've got anything like a towel or a blanket, you can pop it just for a bit more comfort. So I'll just give you a moment if you need those things. So we've got our kind of setup with our cushions. And then we're going to bring our right thigh kind of next to this bolster. So the right shin is out in front, and I'm trying to mirror you so you can kind of choose which way you go. And then we're going to let the chest rotate to face over the bolster. And then let the body sink down. And you can choose whether you want to have, which way you want to be facing, so which way feels comfortable for you. So you might go the other way and add a little bit more rotation, or you're just going to let the elbows settle down. So have a little wriggle around. If it's better for you to have a bit more distance between the bolster and yourself, then feel free to do that. Just make sure you feel comfortable enough so you can use cushions to stack up. And then close your eyes. I'm just going to settle in here. And just make sure it feels good. And if you can't quite find a comfortable position, you can always take the option of coming over this bolster in child's pose instead, so the knees wide of the bolster. So just making sure that this works for your body. And then beginning to lengthen your out breath a little longer than your in breath. So at first we won't count, but we'll just encourage the out breath to be a little longer. So when we breathe out a little longer than the in breath, we engage the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest response. So can you lengthen the out breath? And can you lengthen your out breath now a couple of counts longer than your in breath? So if you're breathing in for a count of 3, then breathe out for a count of 5. If you'd like to extend a bit longer, maybe you're breathing in for a count of 5, breathing out for a count of 7. And if you want to keep extending that out breath, it could be that you're breathing in for a count of 5 and out for a count of 8. But we're making this work with our bodies, so we're not forcing it. It's not too controlled, we're just encouraging a slightly longer out breath. And we'll just stay here for a little longer, softening into this, giving your nervous system that chance, that time, just to rest and restore. Reassuring yourself that it's totally okay to rest. And sometimes it's in rest and out of that thinking mind that actually we solve those problems that we've been ruminating about. I'm going to stay here for a few more deep breaths. Slowly pressing into your hands. Coming all the way up, just taking a moment there. And we'll just change to the other side, so you can just rock over the pelvis. Let the opposite thigh come up against the bolster. And then let the chest rotate to the bolster. And again, choose where you're going to be looking. You can let your ear rest the opposite direction. Depends on how it feels for your body. And let the whole body rest and sink down. Again, shuffling around, finding that position that feels good for your body. Continuing to extend that out breath a little longer than the in breath. Maybe continuing to breathe in for 5 and out for 7 or 8. Stay here for a few more deep breaths, just allowing the body to sink. Pressing into your hands, coming up the same way you came in. Just give yourself a moment. Maybe even tick-tock the knees from side to side gently. We'll come to find our final rest, our Shavasana. So we're going to give you 2 options here. If you'd like to, you can lie back over the bolster. Make sure there's enough space between the hips and the bolster. You can just let the body rest over it. You could have your knees bent. You can have your legs extended or Supta Baddha Konasana. Make sure your head feels supported and the neck feels nice and long. And you can stay there and rest for your whole Shavasana if it feels comfortable too. Second option is to use your cushion or your bolster to prop up underneath your knees. You can use blankets, anything to keep yourself warm, just settling in. It's going to help to just relax the psoas and take any pressure off the low back. So just choosing where you're going to land, where you're going to end your practice today. Softening into this. Staying where you are, and I'm just going to come up to sit to guide you through. But just stay lying on your back. Softening down, allowing the whole body weight to melt. Just staying here, and I'll guide you back when we're ready to close our practice. Staying and resting in Shavasana. This was a short and sweet practice, but feel free to make it longer for yourself if you want to stay and rest in Shavasana for a little longer. Please just Give yourself that permission, give yourself that time and that space. What's another 5-10 minutes? But if you're feeling ready to start to move and you need to kind of get ready for something, just start to wiggle fingers and toes. Start to move. Maybe taking a full body stretch, reaching the arms overhead. Just slowly rolling over onto one side, maybe rolling off the bolster, giving yourself a hug. Just checking in with your body, giving yourself a little thanks and appreciation for coming to practice today. And then slowly and mindfully make your way up to a comfortable seat to close. So it could be cross-legged, on a cushion, kneeling, or sitting in a chair, just allowing the lower body to be grounded and spine to lengthen up and away. And just like we did at the start, just rest the hands on your heart center and maybe give the heart a little bit of a rub. And just listening to your heart. At any point throughout your day, that maybe energy feels like it's getting a little bit heightened, a bit nervous. And just take a moment to rest your hands on your heart and just give your heart a little rub. Or even that same thing we did at the beginning, that heart hug. So you rest your right hand on your left armpit, your left hand on the outside of your right arm. Just reassuring the nervous system that you're safe, what you're doing is enough. And giving your nervous system permission to relax. We'll close our practice together today with one Om. So we'll take a full cycle of breath together first. Breathing in together. And breathing out together. Breathing into Om. Bowing your head to your heart, from my heart and my home to yours. The light in me sees, supports, hears the light in you. Namaste.